With great pleasure, the Rotary Clubs of Gig Harbor celebrate the Star Awards, honoring individuals in our community who, while not Rotarians, live the Rotary ideal of service above self. Tonight, we honor 3 more individuals who embody this ideal of service. Chosen by the Morning Club is Kaitlin Pifer. Chosen by the North Club is Dr. Sara Thompson. And chosen by the Midday Club is Melissa Oman. In addition to this public recognition here tonight, each Star Award recipient is also given the honor of becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. As new Paul Harris Fellows, Kaitlin, Sara, and Melissa are in good company, including U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and James Lovell, Russian President Boris Yeltsin, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, animator and original Imagineer Walt Disney, U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, UN Secretary General Javier Perez de Cuellar, creator of the Salk vaccine Jonas Salk, our own U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer, and many of our local Rotarians. Over the past decade, 30 remarkable individuals have been selected as Star Award recipients, each chosen because of a visible commitment to service in our local communities and beyond. Each honoree has taken responsibility for leadership as they contribute significant personal time and effort to the causes they've chosen. Clearly not motivated by the desire for recognition, each Star Award recipient has chosen to serve simply because he or she saw a need and chose to respond by getting personally involved. Each has demonstrated enthusiasm, dedication, and a willingness to serve in a way that has changed lives and has inspired us. Chosen by the Rotary Club of Gig Harbor Morning is Kaitlin Pifer for her devotion to child advocacy in both work and her personal life, as a CASA volunteer, and providing foster shelter, therapy, and support to countless children in her home.
So a pretty regular day for me. I go to work in a therapeutic school setting, and I'll get calls from social workers throughout the day. Hey, we have Billy that needs a home. Hey, Johnny's getting released from detention. Hey, this child isn't welcome in their home anymore. Their parents aren't able to care for them. They're pretty hurt. There's been some severe abuse going on. I'll get phone calls like that throughout the day. And then come about 4 or 5 o'clock, I'll get another phone call. Hey, Kaitlin, we weren't able to place this kid anywhere. Can they come over? And it's always absolutely. I'm 31. I grew up in the harbor. My parents live about 5 minutes away. I'm engaged. We have 3 dogs. My fiance has an 8-year-old boy. I work as a children's mental health specialist. I'm a licensed therapist. So I work in a Tier 3 behavior program. So that program is for students that their behaviors are too significant to manage in a mainstream environment. So they bus those students to us, and we do school and therapy. I also work as a designated crisis responder, so I do involuntary mental health and substance use detentions. Children are my passion. Children at need, children at risk, children that need an advocate, somebody to stand up for themselves. When I was trying to figure out my career, I was looking at pediatric physical therapy, trying to figure out how to help kids that way. Realized I was more interested in the actual child than the bones and ligaments of their body. So I started volunteering at Mary Bridge and Seattle Children's, which led to CASA, which is absolutely amazing. So CASA, you advocate for children in foster care. So you're kind of like their voice. You go to court, you tell them what you think is best, what they need. If any big concerns come up along the way, talk to the social workers, the attorneys. On one occasion, there was one of my little girls called me, and her foster mom attempted suicide. She called me. I had her call 911, went and picked her up, and she ended up going to a friend's house. So just being that support and that person those kids can call I had another sibling set of 5 who disrupted from their placement, so that means the foster parents could no longer take care of them. So they were at the office waiting for placement, and that's when I realized that we need foster homes. So I was sitting at the DCYF office with these 5 kids waiting to get placed and playing board games, and then dropping one off at a group home, one off in an emergency placement. So that just really showed that we need homes. So I called my mom and I was like, hey, you think I could do this? I was 25 at the time. And my mom was like, I don't see anybody more qualified. I'm like, Mom, I'm only 25. Like, most of these people are parents and grandparents. She's like, why don't you give it a shot? So I did. So the kids start coming in anywhere between 1 and 4 kids a night that need a bed, that need love, that need somebody that understands mental health, extreme behaviors, medical issues. So every night a handful of kids would come. Sometimes they'll stay for a night, sometimes they'll stay for over a year. It just really depends on what that need is. Sometimes the paramedics have to come, sometimes the police have to come. We've had overdoses, extreme behaviors, a lot of aggression, but those behaviors are just meeting that need, and that need could be anything. A lot of times it's just love. So it's really important that I can combine those therapy skills that I got taught in school while I'm able to love the kid and get a combination that really works. So I'm licensed for 0 to extended foster care. So right now I have an 18-year-old boy. I've had this 18-year-old boy off and on since he was 15 when he came into care after some pretty significant assaults. A lot of times I get 8, 9, 10-year-old boys, and then a lot of times I'll get teenage girls, a lot of sadness, a lot of self-harm, a lot of suicidal ideations, things that can be really, really scary. And I just let them come in and it's like, okay, this is where you're at, and that's okay. And we'll watch movies. We've had very, very long nights, stay up late. We'll maybe make cookies at midnight if that's what's in their best interest. Sometimes we get lots of teams of counselors, emergency wraparound teams come on out, and maybe we'll just stay up all night if that's what we need. Other times it can be easier and we'll watch a movie and then head to bed. But every night's different. They come in. This one little girl, I remember coming in, she came from Seattle, and she was like, it's warm in here. But just giving these kids a normal life, a time where they can come and they don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to take care of their siblings. They're safe, they're fed, they know they can go to the pantry and get whatever they want whenever they want. They can cuddle up with the dogs. My dad likes to call it Camp Kaitlin, where it's just kind of fun and chill and no worries. So it just kind of progressed from there. About 245 kids later now. The kids are also special, and they all need somebody to be there for them. Somebody to say, okay, yes, you do drugs. Okay, you're not gonna do them here, but it'll be okay. Yeah, you just ran away. It's these kids that just need strong advocates. I got a call for a little boy with Down syndrome, was soiled in a car, living in a car for a year with his mom. Nonverbal, couldn't walk, malnourished. And then a year later, he got adopted, and he was able to walk and run and play. Was going to school over at Harbor Heights, just thriving. So there's just this huge need for foster care, and these kids that, I mean, they're just kids. Like, there's no bad kids. There's behaviors we may not like, but there's no bad kids. They just need someone there for them. Kids are so special in general, but there's some kids out there that have nobody. And those kids that have nobody need to feel special too and loved. So that's what I do. These kids need love. These kids need a soft intervention, a soft approach that works, and the therapeutic interventions and the love that I can give as a foster parent just makes a difference. There are no bad kids.
Chosen by the Rotary Club of Gig Harbor North is Dr. Sara Thompson, for her invaluable service to the citizens of the Key Peninsula in leadership roles with the Mustard Seed Project and the Key Peninsula News.
Some people come here as retirees. Some people have lived here all their lives and really have lived here for generations. To have to leave this place that they have known and loved and where their community knows and loves them during their most vulnerable later years just felt like a shame. I first came to the Key Peninsula when I was 8, and my parents bought a few acres of land on Carr Inlet with a trail down to the beach and a view of McNeil Island and Mount Rainier. We picked blackberries, dug clams, walked the beach, and bought ice cream at the Long Branch Mercantile. Nearly 30 years ago, my husband Rich and I bought a small house on land near my parents and became weekenders along with our 2 kids. I got a glimmer of what an incredible community the Key Peninsula is during that time. My dad volunteered at Evergreen Elementary School, got involved with conservancy work. My mom joined a group that built the medical building and library in Key Center. When my dad died in 2002, I got a greater sense of the community as friends and organizations wrapped around my mom to support her as she became a widow and living alone out here. And she joined the Mustard Seed Project as well as a volunteer. About 10 years ago, my husband Rich and I built our own retirement home. I'd spent 30 years as a family doctor at Group Health in Seattle prior to that, and for the last 7 years had been the program director of a family medicine residency where young doctors finish 3 years of training, learning how to be family doctors out of medical school. That job, I think, trained me to be organized and to really think about things in a strategic way. When I retired out here and moved to the Key Peninsula more or less full-time, we had since built our dream house on the property. I wanted to figure out how to get engaged in the community, get to know the Key Peninsula better, and have fun. So my mom introduced me to Edie Morgan, who was the executive director of Mustard Seed Project and had founded Mustard Seed, and I joined that board. Mustard Seed was created to give elders a way of living safely in their own homes as they age. So aging in place was our mission and motto. I joined the board in 2013 and became the board president about a year later. It's been an honor to be a part of the Mustard Seed Project and the work it's done. Seven years ago, we embarked on a new adventure, and that was to build housing for seniors who were no longer able to live in their own homes safely. So aging in place needed to mean not just aging at home, but aging here, even if you needed more support. It was quite an experience, and I think none of us really knew how much work would be involved. One of our board members said something that I think is my favorite quote, and that is that we didn't know it was impossible. And now, 7 years later, we have broken ground, and in about a year there will be housing, assisted living for 30 frail seniors on the Key Peninsula. A few years ago, Eric Blegan became our executive director, and he's been invaluable as we have navigated the intricacies of financing and making ultimately the senior housing possible. So we again wouldn't be here without him stepping in as to fulfill Edie's vision. The other thing that I have been doing with my time out here has been writing for the Key Peninsula News. In 2014, I went to a meeting at the Lake Bay Marina about McNeil Island, and it was such an interesting meeting that I thought it would make a great article for the newspaper. So I wrote it up and submitted it to the editor, and within a few months I had joined the reporting staff. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be a part of the newspaper. Our editor at the time left the newspaper a few years after I joined, and Ted Olinger stepped in to become the editor. I think that's when I learned what a difference it made to have a person who actually lives on the Key Peninsula and loves this community take over as editor. So he was both a talented editor, but really of this community. It was a wonderful year or so under his leadership. He worked like crazy and he got burned out. So we were in the market for a new editor. And again, it became really clear that we needed someone of this community. And hallelujah, Lisa Bryan decided that she would be willing to take on the editor role. And it's been a marvelous journey ever since. We joined the Washington Newspaper Publishing Association, partly because we could enter their contests and become an actual bona fide award-winning newspaper, which was wonderful. Each year we've won more awards in writing, advertising, and photography, and this year we won second place as the Newspaper of Excellence. Last year I had the thrill of winning Best Feature Writer, which was the honor of a lifetime. I feel like being part of the paper has just been such an honor. I get to work with an amazing team, volunteer writers, photographers, and editors, a few overworked and underpaid staff, which include Lisa, Ted Still, who's now our associate editor, and Tim Heitzman, who makes the paper look like the amazing paper it is. I get to write about people who live here and love and are a central part of what makes our Key Peninsula what it is, the organizations that take care of the people who live here, and also about issues that I find really interesting. So I've been able to write about logging, about gooey duck farming, about infrastructure, and with everything I write, I just get so much more than I give. To me, that's the key piece about how enriching it is to volunteer. So it's been the gift of a lifetime to be part of the paper.
Chosen by the Rotary Club of Gig Harbor Midday is Melissa Oman for her role in developing programs that benefit the children of the Peninsula School District, and for her phenomenal fundraising efforts for the American Heart Association and Relay for Life.
My journey for volunteering started with my job. I have been working for the American Heart Association for 30 years. And when I got out of college trying to figure out what I wanted to do with myself, I decided I wanted to work for a nonprofit because I wanted to make a difference. A little bit before I started with the Heart Association, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. You know, when she was diagnosed, she was only 50 years old, 51, and she passed away when she was 57, which is actually the age I am today. And I feel like I have so much to live for, and she just didn't get that chance to meet her grandkids didn't get to meet her. So she really is the reason I started down the Relay for Life road. I wanted to do something that made a difference that would help that particular cause, fighting cancer. We moved to Gig Harbor 20 years ago when our kids were 2 years old and 3 years old. And with all my extra time, with only working part-time, I got involved with the Gig Harbor Cooperative Preschool. Our kids both went to that preschool. It's amazing, and because it's a cooperative preschool, the parents help. I met some amazing moms that chose to spend their time volunteering in the classroom, and those friends, that long ago, are basis of Moms on a Mission. We formed a Relay for Life team. It was fun to do an event like Relay for Life with a group of people that you care about so much. And I, of course, was doing Relay for Life for my mom. Later, my dad got cancer, so both my mom and my dad. My dad's a cancer survivor, and for the last 17 years, he's been a very generous donor to Relay for Life. So the moms started off, and so kind of threaded through all of the things that I've done volunteer-wise in Gig Harbor. Moms on a Mission has been a team. And I truly had the volunteer bug at that point. So I created an event called Math Rocks. It just felt like there was a need for making math more fun. So we created this family fun night. We had 500 people come our first year. It was so inspirational because the teachers were so involved and so committed to the success, and it was the type of event that took on a life of its own. So there were other elementary schools that also did a Math Rocks. For 2 years, I led a Spellathon fundraiser, which was fun. It actually started in Voyager. We tweaked it a bit for Artdale. And then, since the bug was firmly entrenched, when the kids got into Kopachuk, I did a fundraiser for them. We did some fundraising for Gig Harbor High School. The Gig Harbor Lighted Car Parade we started last year. It was a brainchild of a friend, Kimber Lawrence. But what I love about it is it's a lighted car parade, which is fun. It's in conjunction, we do a food drive and a toy drive. And last year we were able to collect about 4,000 different toys and food items for the food bank. But kind of, as I said, threaded through the whole thing was Moms on a Mission and doing Relay for Life every single year. Relay for Life has been in Gig Harbor for over 25 years. It's amazing. The volunteers that are on the committee for those years, the beginning years, are just incredible human beings. 1 year, Russell Wilson came in on a helicopter. So the traditional relay is at a school. So we did them at Goodman, Peninsula High School, and Gig Harbor High School. You walk around a track for 18 hours, taking turns. It's made up of teams, just like our Moms on a Mission team. And you pass off a baton. So our moms team always had this thing about who's going to have to walk at 2 in the morning. What you're doing is walking on behalf of either somebody that you've lost or for somebody that is a survivor. There are survivors that walk the first lap. The whole track is lined with luminaria bags. Each bag represents somebody that you're walking for that in memory of or that's a survivor. It was so moving to be part of something that was making a difference in the fight against cancer. But after 25 years, attendance started to decline, so we did end up moving the Relay for Life to Uptown in 2018, and that's actually when I joined the committee and started kind of in a leadership role. Up to that point, I was a team captain for our Moms on a Mission team. So our Moms on a Mission team over that period of time raised over $178,000 for the American Cancer Society. So Uptown was great. It was 5 hours during the day, not overnight, and that helped a lot on the attendance. Then COVID happened. And right now, the American Cancer Society really needs our help more than ever because donations are down. We've had to lay off staff. So as a result of that, they decided to merge all the Relay for Lives into one event taking place in Tacoma. I said, I really believe we need to do an event on this side of the bridge. And we'd hate to give up a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. And that is how Gig Harbor Music Against Cancer was born. Our first year was last year, and again, due to COVID, we were not able to do it in person. We did it virtually, and in our first year, we raised over $41,000 for the American Cancer Society. Very exciting. So we're in the beginning stages of planning for 2022. The American Cancer Society is so invested in our community and wants to support us. They're actually creating a website for us, so it's going to be a very exciting year. There are so many ways to get involved. We are looking for teams and for sponsors. So, like Rotarians, for instance, each of you, as a group, you're amazing, and that would be one way to get involved. But each of you are individually in parts of companies and organizations, and just to gather your friends and your coworkers and family and come to Uptown. And the event's going to be on August 13th this year. Attending the event is fabulous, but we really just need the fundraising. We're going to set a goal of $50,000, and the way to get to that amount is everybody helping a little bit. So a lot of people ask, what does the American Cancer Society do with the money that we raise? And one of the big things they do that I personally am invested in is research. And it's so important because what they discover helps on what kind of medication you'll get if you're diagnosed. It helps with figuring out what the screenings are to figure out whether you have cancer. You know, there's a test, a BRCA test, that will tell you if you have a mutation and maybe a likelihood of getting breast cancer. And it turns out my dad is a breast cancer survivor. He took the test and did have that mutation, which meant all of us took the test. And now we have the information on whether or not it's something that we need to be worried about. A big thing I hear is people wanting to donate locally. And I feel like when you donate to the American Cancer Society, you are donating locally, because with them using money to fund cancer research, we benefit. We are the ones that get to take the screening tests or do the chemo that was developed. Even if it was developed in a different state, it's something that we benefit from in Gig Harbor. I feel like it's important to contribute to something greater than myself. There are so many things you can spend your time on, and I just feel like I will feel like a better human being if I'm contributing to something that is beyond just my life. I wouldn't call volunteering a hobby, but it is something I really enjoy.
Whether we are promoting peace, fighting disease, providing clean water, helping mothers and children survive and thrive, supporting education, or engaging in projects to support the local economy, Rotary clubs here in Gig Harbor and across the globe share the ideal of service above self. We are honored and proud that tonight, through the Star Awards, we have once again had the opportunity to recognize members of our community like Kaitlin, Sara, and Melissa, who share our commitment to service. On behalf of a grateful community, we thank you.